Welcome to the Financial Accountability System, Jesus Community Church. It's about managing your money with wisdom, discipline, and accountability. There's an automatic accountability tracker that keeps all your investments, savings, gross profits, expenses, and net profits intact, and it automatically calculates the percentages for you and gives you the overall totals. Is really good when it comes to trying to keep everything organized and all your finances organized without having to necessarily do it by hand, which would be too tedious based upon the fact that there's so much things going on in your life. So therefore, this is a very important system. So let's go through it, how to use it. Monthly financial updates. We'll come back to that. Gross profit. Gross profit is the total amount of money you earned overall without any subtractions. Total expenses is the total amount of money that has to come out of your pocket in order to deal with certain things. The net profit is the money left over after you subtract from your total amount earned and the total amount of expenses, etc. Then you have your tithes, that's automatically subtracted from whatever you put. Your savings, that's automatically subtracted at 10%. Investments at 5% is automatically subtracted. Obviously, we know tithes is 10% of your overall earnings. Savings is the purpose of savings is for emergencies and also emergency investments. Emergencies are anything with hospital or anything that's is very pressing or you need to deal with it or else it's going to be a big issue. Emergency investments are investments that are a one-time deal and it has a timeline in which it can go away. Like for example, a vehicle that someone wants to sell or something like that, and they're leaving the island and the price is like literally 50% off. So this is an emergency investment. We need to jump on this because we can make profits on this. So emergency investments would be like investments that have a specific timeline and it's going to go away that has a major deal or gives you major returns on your investment. And obviously emergencies would be hospital situations or issues or injuries or dealing with certain situations, emergencies, things that you can't avoid. And investments would be things tailored toward growth of your finances. So you can press the question mark and it'll tell you what these things represent. Now, savings and investments accountability. You can track your savings and investments and how they're being used and record it. So let's say you have some investment money. You can decide how much of that you want to spend. So you can keep track of how much was spent and the date it was spent. And then you can put if you made any returns on that investment. We're going to get back to savings and all that. Okay, so let's look at daily income. What you will do is you put in how much you made. Let's say you made $250 this week. Then you can put your job. So you have three options: job, side hustle, or gift. So if someone gives you a gift, you still register that. If it's a side hustle, meaning a business or whatever, and you can put that. If it's your job, then you can put that. And it'll be $250. And let's say we save that. You'll notice it goes to the top, and then automatically it takes out the percentage what needs to go into savings, tithes, and investments. What you will notice too is that your net profit is at 187.50, so that's how much money you will have left over, and this will represent the expenses of these three here. Okay. Now, if we go ahead and we want to spend, let's say the savings, then we'll go here, save and spending, and let's say we have a food shortage and we need some food really bad, so we say okay, $20, and you say food, and then you put the date. I'm just doing random stuff just for the example. 2026, and then we save that. And now what you will notice is that it's subtracted automatically to the bottom. You'll see it here, save and spent $20, and then you see which your savings has been used right here. So it's a save and spending history. Very important stuff. Now if I refresh this page, then it will kick in how much savings are left. So look at the savings now, it's dropped down to $5 when it was at this amount. So it will automatically track how much you have left in your savings and your investments. Tithes obviously is static, means it goes nowhere. So moving on. Now let's say you spend on a regular item, let's say your normal spending. Gas is $20 for example, and you put gas. and save, it will automatically subtract that from your overall, and it will increase your total expenses here. Okay, so that's important. And then it'll also record that information here to the bottom. So you see a job made a plus of 250, gas is negative 20. Okay, so it keeps track of your daily spending. Now, a part of your daily spending could be philanthropy, or you could put charity. So let's say you give away some money, you could say, okay, I give $40, and you put whatever information. I give $40 to my wife, or something like that. And then you could just save. And then that information will also be to the bottom, and the information on where the money is going is to the bottom, and it'll calculate it also to the very top. So you'll know exactly how much money was given away, was spent, etc. And then it'll subtract automatically from your net profit. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Now let's look at investments quickly. Also, investment spending. Let's say you look at your investment and you see you have $12 in there, and then you want to invest in some paper for your business or a pen. So you say $5 I'll invest into it, and you say pen, and then you enter. This is a return on investment. This is if you make any money on your investment. So let's say you invest in the pen and paper, and because you got that pen and paper, you're able to write down the clients, and one of those clients bought your product as a result of you spending that $5, and now you get more. Or let's just say you buy a pen and you sell that pen. You buy it for $5 a pack of pen and you sell it for 10. So then you put $10 here. So that'll be your return. Sorry, your return on your investment will be $5. Return on your investment. So you spend 5. Oh yeah, put 10. Sorry, you spend 5, you made 10, and then you put the date that happened. Now, if you didn't make anything yet, and you just leave it at 0, and you could always fill that information out later for in terms of return on investment. Let's say save that, and now we go here. We know our investment money stays and went up, and then you'll notice that it'll show us how much we lost and how much we got on returns on the investment. So we gained $5, you see, and we got $10 return from the investment. Now, if I go and I put investment, because we have $12.50, and I'm spending the whole $12.50, and I say business supplies, and I say the return on the investment is $5 for this week. And then we put 12, 26, 20, 26. And we save that. And then we go down, you'll notice that our loss is $2.50 over $2.50 in the whole. Investment return is $15. Total investment is $17.50. So it keeps track of all of that, and you can see exactly what the investment gains and losses were here. We refresh this page, then the investment will be reflected to the very top of the page here. So you see you are negative $5. Okay, very important. So it's pretty simple how to use it. It's one more thing to learn about the system, and that is reoccurring expenses. You know how to keep on putting in expenses over and over, so you can do reoccurring expenses. So you know how much for rent, school fee, electricity bill, grocery bill per month, transportation bill, and then you can put when these things are normally expected to be up, or when the expenses comes up. So let's say my monthly rent is 800. I'll say school fee is 200, just for example. Electricity is 90, and groceries is like 150 a month. These are monthly expenses. Transportation, let's say 120, and then these are expected on the first of every month. And once I put save, you will notice that it has all my recurring expenses listed, and it will save it and automatically update those things on the first. So the date will be moving, and once this date runs up, then it will automatically update that expenses here, and then you'll subtract from your gross profit. So this is a good way to track and everything, and then you don't have to do it twice or 3 times. It'll automatically update your recurring expenses. Now here's the good thing about that too, is that you also can edit it and modify it as you desire. Okay, so that's a very cool tool that you can use to make things easier so you don't have to keep updating certain expenses. So just surprise expenses that you may incur, you could just put that there in daily spending. All right, so if you have any questions on this, let me know. I think that covers the basics of Jesus Community Church financial accountability system.